everyone. I want to talk with you about the profound arc of transformation that we are in now across the next 11 years, but particularly intense between now and the end of 2024. This is a profound time of transformation. We are actually in the time of the apocalypse. As I say that word, what does that bring to mind for you? Does it remind you of films about the end of the world, about death, destruction, the end of humanity and the earth as we've known it? Well, interestingly enough, the deeper meaning of apocalypse, coming from the Greek root, is the great revealing. It is about when what has been hidden is uncovered. It's the great unveiling. It is the opening of our consciousness to who we truly are here on Earth as part of the galactic community, as part of cosmic consciousness. We are in the time of the apocalypse when we are called to remember who we are and what we're capable of as humans. Our capacity for expanded consciousness in order to come into more co-creative community with each other, into more unity with cosmic consciousness, to transform our world and move into a time of enlightenment. This is what is possible for us. But one of the things that's important to know is that the astrological energies that we're in, the patterns of the planets and stars, are guiding us through this time of transition and transformation. They are our blueprint. But like Bruce Lipton, pioneer in epigenetics, talks about when he talks about the meaning of epigenetics, it is that realization that our genes are our blueprint. They are not our destiny. How they unfold and how the cells in our bodies respond is based on our beliefs, on our interpretation of our external reality. How our bodies manifest, either in health or disease, depends on our beliefs and on our consciousness. And in much the same way, how we navigate this profound time with the stars and planets as our blueprint, as our guide, will depend on our consciousness. This is such a critical time. And if we are caught in fear and our trauma individually and collectively is activated, we will become reactive. We will manifest the very thing that we fear. And we will play out that shadow side of apocalypse that is about disaster and destruction. But if we navigate these times with expanded consciousness, coming from the heart and a place of love, then we have the capacity to move into a new age and a new world beyond our wildest imagining. And I truly believe these next few years are a critical threshold time. We're now in the final degrees of Pluto in Capricorn. The meaning of Pluto in Capricorn is about the transformation of our systems and structures in our societies, in our global community. Pluto in Capricorn is saying the systems and structures that are out of balance, that are corrupt, that are about power over, that are about injustice, that are generating fear and destruction and exploitation of the earth and harm to the people on the earth and the life creatures on the earth. Those forms need to stop. Whether they're manifesting in politics, economics, medicine, education, whatever the arena, those systems and structures need to crumble and die in order for the new forms to emerge. Pluto is that planet of alchemy, burning away what no longer serves us to allow the true gold, the essence of what is true, to emerge. As Pluto is in these final degrees of Capricorn, and it will begin to move into Aquarius March of 2023, and then it will go back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn until it fully moves into Aquarius November of 2024. I truly believe that is the threshold. That is where we cross into that energy of the age of Aquarius. But between now and that time, we're in this transition that is about a death rebirth. And what's critical is that we understand the larger unfolding that's occurring. Otherwise, that Pluto in Capricorn, which is sextiling Neptune in Pisces, that's a powerful combination. If we're working it consciously, it is about letting go of the old forms, Pluto in Capricorn, and holding a sense of faith and trust, Neptune and Pisces, that we are being guided, we are being carried into new ways of being. And that Neptune and Pisces is not only helping us come from a place of trust in cosmic consciousness, guiding us through this transition, but it is about holding compassion for each other in this time of uncertainty. And it is about honoring the increasing, expansive sensitivity to energy, consciousness, capacity for spiritual awareness that we're capable of. This is the time that we're in. However, if we're caught in fear, if we are not working these energies consciously, then Pluto in Capricorn, instead of being the transformation of the structures that need to die in order for new ones to emerge, it can be the determined effort to sustain those structures that are about power over, injustice, greed, corruption, destruction. And how is that done? Neptune in Pisces, through illusion, delusion, fostering fear, anxiety, overwhelming uncertainty. Neptune in Pisces. And what are we seeing play out in the world right now? What are we being bombarded by mainstream media? It's all about fear. And it's an increasing narrative of fear that fosters a survival mentality, and it triggers reactivity. And when we're caught in fear, whether it's about the pandemic, it's about the economic instability, it's about the increasing climate change disasters, whatever the narrative, the content, the intent is to foster fear, which then not only fear shuts down our immune system, so we are then more susceptible to whatever viruses or whatever we're exposed to. Our bodies are more apt to go out of balance or fall into dis-ease. But fear also constricts our capacity to love and our capacity to expand our consciousness. And the more we're caught in fear, the more we are able to be controlled. And the more likely we are to give our power away to anyone in a position of authority who is telling us, this is what you need to do to be safe, and this is what you need to do to protect those that you love. This is how you will survive. And out of our fear and our concern for others, we increasingly then give our power away until we find ourselves trapped in tyranny and caught not in this new age of Aquarius, of enlightenment and co-creation in community, but caught in a world order with an authoritarian structure dominated by power over and greed. I would encourage you to look carefully at what is going on in the world right now. I would encourage you to not accept the mainstream media narrative. Dive deep. Do your own research. Search for the truth. Don't get caught in polarization. Don't get caught in extreme reactivity that we're seeing also going on around the world. Stay centered. Dive deep. Explore what is true, what is real. Look at the facts. Do your research. But also turn within. Get centered in yourself. Align with your connection with the earth and with the sky and with your spirit guides, and listen to your own intuition and your own inner knowing. Do not give your power away to anyone or anything. I truly believe the meaning of the Aquarian age that we're moving into is the sovereignty of the self, in the sanctity of community, and in unity with cosmic consciousness. The sovereignty of the self. We are being called, as we move into the Aquarian age, to reclaim that awareness that each of us is a unique and creative expression of cosmic consciousness. And it's when we claim that sovereignty, that sense of our uniqueness, that we not only take responsibility for our health, for our bodies, for our own emotions, but we align with the soul self and are able to live our purpose and bring out our unique gifts in the world. The sovereignty of the self. Capital S. The self in alignment with the soul self. The sovereignty of the self is that awareness that we are but a drop in the sea of cosmic consciousness. The sanctity of community is the realization that the meaning of the age of Aquarius is for us to form new connections, a new sense of community with each other that is not founded on division, hatred, hostility, competition, tribalism, nationalism, polarization, but based on the sense that we are diversity in unity, that we are have an incredible capacity to co-create a world together that is about justice and love and equality and respect and compassion. In that way, we move from this low level of biological evolution, of survival, into thriving. Thriving among any species is that awareness of the power of cooperation and collaboration. That awareness of the extraordinary strength of biodiversity and of our human diversity. We are being called into the sovereignty of the self, in the sanctity of community, and in unity with cosmic consciousness, to remember who we truly are as humans, that we are spiritual beings having this earthly experience. But as we remember who we are and expand into these higher states of consciousness, we remember our capacity to open to the wisdom of the cosmos, the energies of the earth, the awareness that everything is conscious, everything is pulsing with the sentience and the vitality of the consciousness of the cosmos. And then we come back into harmony and come back into that symphony of the spheres. This is what we're moving towards. And what's extraordinary is I truly believe that is the call of the age of Aquarius, and what this blueprint of the stars and planets and Mother Earth are guiding us into. And I believe these next few years between now and the end of 2024 are that time of letting go of the old forms in order to move into this new way of being. But remember, any rite of passage involves that liminal time where we have to let go of what's been secure and familiar, as miserable as it's been on the planet in so many ways with how we've been living, particularly in these past 5,000 years. It can be hard to let go of what's known, what's familiar. But if Neptune and Pisces, we surrender to that letting go and to the openness of this new birth we're moving into, then we have the capacity to open to an extraordinary new sense of ourselves and co-create a new world. As we move across that threshold into the age of Aquarius, then across the next 7 years, from 2025 to 2032, I believe it will be the unfolding, the opening, the expansion of these energies of the Aquarian age to take us to 2032, when, as I've talked about in a previous video, we experience in June of 2032 that new beginning cycle of Uranus and Saturn. Radically new forms and ways of being. Saturn conjunct Uranus. It will be in Gemini, but as I talked about in that earlier video, in the sky, that conjunction of Uranus and Saturn will be in the upraised arm of Orion. That is symbolic, Orion, of the god Osiris, the one who dies and is reborn. That upraised arm of Orion is the symbol of the resurrection experience. The apocalypse has revealed who we truly are. The veils have lifted. The hidden mysteries are brought back to awareness, and we rise into a higher state of consciousness and a completely new understanding of our humanity and our capacity to co-create a new world of compassion, love, freedom, truth, harmony. I find it extraordinary that in June 2032, right around the time of the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, at least here in the northern hemisphere, At that time around the solstice, not only will Uranus and Saturn be in that upraised arm of Orion, but the Sun, Mars, and Venus all clustered there together. The Sun, our essence. Venus, how we are in relationship. Mars, how we take action. Uranus and Saturn, new forms. This is the promise. This is what these planets and stars are guiding us into. A resurrection experience, going through the revelation to the resurrection. At that time, June 22nd, 2032, the moon will be full in Sagittarius, in alignment with the galactic center and under the care of Ophiuchus the healer. A time of healing, a time of alignment with Source, a time of resurrection, new ways of being. It's extraordinary. The book of wisdom of the earth and sky are saying, wake up. This is what this time is about. Remember who you really are. Come back into your connection with your soul self, an alignment with the earth and sky, and expand your consciousness to remember you are a drop of the sea of cosmic consciousness. But if we don't awaken, if we don't allow this apocalypse to be the revelation it's intended to be, if we don't move through this time consciously to move in concert with these energies calling us to our own resurrection experience individually and collectively, we can shape the outcome to be radically different. These energies are a blueprint, but how they manifest will depend on the choices that we make and the consciousness within which we view them. And if we come from fear, we will continue to play out the shadow side of this time, which will be increasing destruction and an obsession with death, not in a metaphorical sense, which is the intention, that we're collectively being called into an ending of an old world age that is destructive into a new, vital world age. But we will become obsessed with death in a literal, physical way. And we will struggle for our own survival. And we will lock ourselves away from each other, and we will isolate ourselves, and we will get caught in fear, and we will do things that are letting go of sovereignty over ourselves and giving power over to others, whose agenda is not about this movement into the resurrection experience, but is about control, power over, destruction. The choice is ours, and no one can have power over us unless we allow that. When we choose to align with our soul selves and align with truth and open to the energy of love and higher consciousness, we then are filled with that light and wisdom of the cosmic consciousness, and we emanate that out. And it not only guides us, protects us, helps us stay centered within ourselves, but it affects everyone around us, and it supports that larger awakening that we are so capable of in this time. I know this because I'm in contact with so many of you from around the globe who are holding that light of consciousness and love in profound ways. And it's not about doing great deeds. It's about being in that energy, in that consciousness, in that light of love and wisdom, and holding it here, energizing it, supporting each other in that, connecting together to create that energetic web of healing that supports the revelation, the transformation, and the resurrection. This is our time. This is why we are here. Let us hold that energy together. Blessed be.